balance, which indeed we will spend a lot of time talking about physical balance because it's kind of important and it's a big part of almost everything that goes on in this room. Is there's some balance activities that are going on. But in the past, I've done other talks that had to do with balance. So it's more to it than just physical balance. And I'm sure you guys all know this. So what balance is mean that you're sort of in equilibrium, right? You're not teetering. You're steady. You're state in a nice state of equilibrium where everything's good, everything's even. You're balanced. And so we like to have a balance in our life. We like to have a balanced diet. It's really good if you have a bank balance. And indeed, we're going to be talking about physical balance because that's important. So part about being balanced in your life is really has to do with knowing yourself and taking care of yourself and how much you need to rest, the kinds of foods that work best for you. You need to know yourself is really the bottom line. And so that's obviously a super individual thing. And the things that work for you might not be the same things that work for other people that you might even live with. So it's just good to know yourself and how to take care of the best, how to keep your own self in balance. And part of staying in balance means that you take good care of your brain. Try to learn a new piece of information every day, just because that basically keeps things going. It keeps you alert, keeps you on your toes. It's going to contribute to your life balance if you keep your brain in good shape. And we talk a lot in this program, and we value a lot, the notion of being connected, having social connections, whether it's with the people in our group, whether it's your family, your friends, your neighborhoods, whatever. That's super important, the older we get especially. So we should never be too busy to stay connected, whether it's you just call people, you send them an email, you reach out, whatever. I have a sister in New Mexico. I talk to her probably 2 or 3 times a week. We're very connected. I'm blessed for her. And this is the one I think I get in trouble. Personally, I don't do too much stuff anymore that's spontaneous, but that fits in with the notion of new things and staying alert and keeping on top of things. So that's an encouragement that you every once in a while do something that you hadn't really planned ahead. It was just you spur of the moment, you get up and you do something. You go for a walk, you go call your sister, you whatever you might do. So that's a helpful concept, is to have something spontaneous every once in a while going on for you. And again, going back to taking care of yourself, that means you have to be mindful of your own situation and know when you need to take a break and leave stuff. Take care and nurture yourself. A lot of the same concepts here. You can't accomplish anything without good health. So basically take care of yourself, which is what our program is really truly all about. And part of this knowledge is basically your priorities. And there's sometimes stuff that you have to give up and you're not doing anymore because it's too hard or it doesn't fit in your life very well. And so that's actually a helpful concept, is to knowing when it's okay to let go of certain things. And if they're super important, maybe you make decisions to hang on to them. That's important. Again, it all fits in with knowing yourself. Create an efficient mindset, be organized and plan ahead. Expect the unexpected rather than get stressed and upset. Allow yourself to roll with the punches when something you have no control over happens. Stuff happens, adjust your game plan. And we're pretty good at that in here. We roll with a lot of punches. We take stuff as it comes. When we have to wait a half an hour for Dr. Lopez to show up, we wait a half an hour for Dr. Lopez to show up. It's not like we had any control over his schedule, nor does he. So I feel more for him than I do for us. Anyway, go with it. Roll with the punches. There's so many of these. Maintain a positive mental attitude. Begin each day with the intention of making the best and the most of it. And a balanced diet is really not dark versus milk chocolate, red and white wine. And that's where she's probably got the real balance. And so balanced diet, we talk a lot about food in here, and Debbie does wonderful things with us nutritionally. And her goal is basically to get us all to eat more vegetables. I think we all know that, right? So we're grateful for her advice. And this is just a reminder of, what our plate should be looking like if it's in the right balance, that it's basically half of your plate is fruit and vegetables. Bank balance, recommended to have enough in your savings account to cover 3 to 6 months of expenses. Has everybody got that? I don't think I do. Of course he does. A general rule, have 8 to 10 times your salary saved by the time you hit 65. I'll have to go back and do some math there. The younger you start saving for retirement, the closer you'll be to this benchmark. 10 times your salary. That would be a lot of money for you, Carrie. You got that in the bank? Any rate, so just sort of not prying into anybody's finances, and I'm blessed that most of the people that come to this program are able to, or they wouldn't be here with us. And so that does take basically having some resources and the ability to put gas in your car and pay your mortgage and all those kinds of things is how you kind of keep your balances. And it's especially anymore because everything is really getting expensive.
Linda?
Uh-huh.
Those estimates of what you need before you retire, I have found that they are for people that need to have their retirement fund. In other words, they don't get a regular pension.
That are retiring, doing their own retirement plans.
Yeah. We're so used here in California, so many people work for the state. But yeah, sometimes the numbers are so phenomenal, but they're assuming that you just have Social Security and then you have to have this, base amount
Right.
for that. So I don't know. I don't know about this particular estimate, but usually that's the case.
Right. Well, my personal observation, since I'm retired and get a pension, is you do spend all this time when you're working, putting aside, getting told what you should be doing to be retired. And then once you retire, nobody tells you anything. They don't tell you how you're supposed to make your money last or what you're supposed to do to, when you actually do really retire. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Inflation fits in there. Yeah, it's weird. Well, thanks, Karen. Okay, so here's some illustrations of stools. And so for years and years and years, when we worked at UC Davis, we always talked about how our program was a three-legged stool because we did exercise, nutrition, and stress management. And it was important that people be balanced in the respect to those things so that their stool stayed stable, right? Because on a three-legged stool, if you're do one of more and not of another, then you're not balanced. You're gonna teeter. But if you're balanced on all your notions on a three-legged stool, you are indeed balanced. A four-legged stool obviously is better balanced than a three-legged stool. So now that we've grown and we're wiser, we basically have 4 pillars. So we have a four-legged stool that we sort of subscribe to, but the same notions: exercise, diet, and stress, and the fourth leg of our stool being the social stuff. And some fun illustrations. Dr. Capagoda, most of you don't know, but he was our mentor, and this was his the reason that a big reason why this program exists is because he was a beloved guy and people gave him money, so he had a wad of cash, and we were able to actually create a nonprofit corporation, which is the thing that has bought the machines that are in this room, etc. So this is the name of Dr. Capagoda's foundation, which is called the Foundation for Health Through Knowledge and Action, which is way too long of a name for anything. But and this is his artwork, his concept, so we keep it for that reason. But his goal was, or his notion was, that these things should be in balance and they all are intertwined and they work together. So if you take care of yourself, you're going to maintain your mental outlook. If you take care of yourself, you're going to have the ability to stay active. And by the same token, if you stay active, you're going to stay healthier. And if you stay active, you're going to take care of your mental outlook. And the effort that you put into educating yourself and making yourself aware of things basically feeds back to keep you active and to keep you healthy. So his notion was good, so this foundation through knowledge and action, that you do those two things to take care of yourselves. But if you just ever did anything on Google, these 4 pillars are out there everywhere. And it's kind of fun to see others' concepts of the 4 pillars. So exercise is always a big one. Diet's always one of them. Some mental perspective, mental well-being, self-awareness, mental well-being. They all are as a big part of it too. And then the 4th one is the one that seems to vary a lot. So sleep in one of these examples, 3 of these examples, rest and recovery, same notion as sleeping, I guess. And here's another one: move more, stress less, connect deeply, eat well. That kind of fits in with our 4 pillars. And here's actually some podcasts from the National Heart and Blood Institute about the health and the 4 pillars of health. I'm not going to show that, but I'm just saying that everybody's sort of into this pillar concept, and I guess we're on the same bandwagon. And many years ago, when we started the program that was at UC Davis, we sort of followed Dean Ornish, who was a San Francisco internist at that time, who was promoting plant-based eating for heart health, which is kind of what we did. And this is one of his more recent books, which I don't know if it's still in our bookcase or not. It was for the longest time, but he's got the same 4 things: move more, stress less, love more, and eat well. But so 4 things. And so these are our pillars that we basically try to have a balance of these activities for things that we do here in the program. So the exercise is the most tangible one. The nutrition is we advocate the plant-based eating. People eat what they eat. Looks like I need to scrunch it a little. Mindfulness is cut off. So stress management is a big part, and the social interactions are a huge, important part of it. So life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you got to keep moving. That's Einstein. Okay, now I'm indeed going to talk about physical balance, which is probably the reason why you sat down, because that's important. Okay, so when we're kids, we play and we do stuff, and all of that basically helps to enhance our balance. We skip, we jump, we run, or some of us did. Anybody play hopscotch anymore? I remember playing hopscotch. Did you play hopscotch?
I did.
Yeah.
I don't now, but
I might have to set that up in here. That'd be kind of fun.
be fun to watch.
But as adults, we don't practice that stuff so much anymore. And so this is a nationwide health promotion goal, is to improve the balance of older adults, because it's super consequential, and many people, there's thousands of dollars spent in healthcare things for people that injured themselves because they fell down. And so we do a lot in here to basically keep our physical balance the best that we can. And people that use their bodies for a living basically do stuff to focus on balance. You hear about football players doing ballet so that they can have better agility and whatnot as football athletes. And so there's lots of things that athletes do to sort of keep their balance up, including be an athlete and participate in the sports that they participate in them. So just a little science as to what we need to have good balance. Okay, so equilibrioception, or the sense of balance, helps prevent humans and animals from falling over when walking or standing still. So it's the result of all kinds of integration. So what you see in your ears, actually, this vestibular system is a huge important component of your balance system. And just your body sense in general, your joints knowing where they are, this proprioception, are another component of the things that help us keep our balance. Okay, so visually we get input into our eyeballs, right? We see stuff in the periphery, and when you're aware of get this visual input, you make adjustments. You're aware that it's going to get darker, so you pay more attention. You look down at your feet so you can enter a dark corridor more carefully, those kinds of things. So visual input is super helpful, and you can challenge yourself. If you're doing a one-legged stand and it's super easy, try doing it with your eyes closed, and you'll be surprised that it's not quite as easy without that visual input. That really does help you keep yourself vertical in the space because of where you know that your head is and with respect to the rest of the room, because you're getting some visual input. This vestibular system is incredibly amazing. And so these tiny little structures way deeper than your ear, these semicircular canals, those basically are the things that detect what's going on with their head, how we're moving, etc. And the input that they get for whatever's going on is how we adjust and do stuff like not fall down because our head realizes that it's going to tilt here. So I'm sure some of you in your past have actually had ear trouble and were aware that your balance was messed up. You just had that very recently. Yeah. So if your ears are clogged, you might be dizzy. When these organs on both sides of the heads are functioning properly, they send messages to your brain, and then the brain gets both these messages of just how it knows to keep you vertical and upright. And it's kind of fun to, on the internet, see there's lots of stuff that they do for kids to help them with their vestibular training, to get them to, so gymnastics and somersaults and those kinds of things basically are how kids learn to basically have a good sense of balance because of training their vestibular organs. We quit doing that. And vertigo is not super common in our population, but some people do have that. I mean, we used to have a workmate that had it super bad, and that's could be an inner ear thing. It could be some other related thing. So if you do have a lot of dizziness in life, you really ought to get it checked out. And one of the things that they're for sure going to check out probably would be your ears. Okay. Your muscles and joints themselves also have this proprioceptive ability. And so the joints get input from what's going on. They pressure, etc., where they know that the body is moving, that it's swaying. And so they kind of adjust. And the feet and the neck are the particular places where it's important to have good proprioception, because those are the places that, number one, keep your head aligned, and number two, keep you standing up, because your ankles are aware of what's going on with you because of their movements. So we focus on that with some of the exercises that we do. And so the sensory inputs originating in the neck and the ankles are especially important. I just said that. Proprioceptive cues from the neck indicate the direction in which the head is turned, and the ankles tell the body that it's swaying or it's relative to the surface that it's on. So you know that it's uneven, and you have to sort of adjust and move, or widen your stance so that you stay upright. And all of this is input: your eyes, your ears, your joints. The information that they're delivering to your brain obviously has to be integrated for it to be effective and for it to keep you standing up. So balance information provided by all these peripheral organs, the eyes, the muscles, and the joints, the vestibular system, gets sorted out in your brain, and the brain is the thing that basically sends signals back to your body to say, hey, put your foot over here so that you don't fall down, kind of stuff. And there's things you can do to train this sensory input by doing repeated movements that are good movements. By repeatedly practicing serving, a tennis player learns to optimize balance control during that movement. And the brain helps you basically adjust and do stuff. And so when you see things that are out of whack and you get the input, again, to take wider steps, to take narrower steps, to slow down, whatever it needs to do is to navigate safely through a situation that your system has picked up is abnormal, is different, whether it's going uphill, whether it's rough pavement, whatever it might be. You kind of need all those input. And this is just an illustration of the brain coordinating all that. So obviously all those systems kind of have to work well together. You got to be integrated. And if you thought about having situations, losing eyesight in one place, having your ears messed up, losing sensation in your joints. So if you have a lot of stenosis in your neck, you might lose your proprioceptive ability. So that's when you basically become a little bit compromised and are probably starting to have more balance issues. And and so in an acute situation, when there's this overload and you're uneven in your surface, obviously you're going to lose your balance and you're probably going to fall down, right? And that's the thing that you're really striving to not do, is to not fall down. And it's not the falling down that's bad, okay? So because that's just an adaptation. Your brain picks up that your head's in the wrong place and your feet aren't underneath you, and so it only can do what gravity's going to let it do, and it plops you down on your butt, because that's just how your body dealt with what was going on. So the falling itself is not the bad part. The bad part is that if you fall down, you're more and more likely to hurt yourself. How you're going to land, you know. So when you fall down and you throw your arm out and you land on your wrist and then you end up breaking your bones, you know, that's bad. So I'm not going to say that falling is okay, because you really don't want to fall down, but it's not the falling down that's bad. You don't want to hurt yourself when you fall down. So that means if you're prone to falling down, and we can talk about this later, that's not the tone of today, it makes sense basically to learn how to fall down so that you don't hurt yourself, because that's helpful. And we again, falling, just the last couple weeks ago, I told Carrie this already. I was out in the morning doing something in my backyard, and the sprinklers had gone off, so the grass was all wet, and I was going to get something on the other side of the yard or something, and I tripped over the hose or something, and I indeed fell down. And you would have been so proud of me, because I did exactly what you're supposed to do. I rolled right into it, you know, and landed on my side, and I was fine. Did not hurt myself in the least, but I was completely wet because the grass was all wet. So I was totally drenched, but I wasn't hurt. And that's, if you're going to fall down, that's what you want to do, is roll into it. We'll talk way more about that later, but that's the goal, is to not hurt yourself. And so things that we do to help improve our balance are things that focus on all these things we were just talking about, okay? So when you're doing movements that require you to basically balance on one leg, when you shift your weight from side to side, yoga, Tai Chi, a lot of those movements basically force you to you know, be in one place in one time. And so that's helping the proprioception of your joints and of your neck. And if you got an ear issue, we can't deal with that. We're not really doing exercises for that per se, but we do a lot of things in all the routines that I do that focus on this proprioception, getting your joints to know where they are so they can keep you basically straight up in one place. I think that might be the only exercise I have. The other things that matter with respect to fitness. So yes, you want to have balance, the ability to stand on one leg. You want to practice that here and there. And then it's also helpful in this picture, two other aspects of fitness that fit in are strength and flexibility. So the stronger muscles basically are going to enable you to maintain your balance better than weaker muscles, okay? So the places where you want to be strong for fall prevention would be where? Where do you think you need to be strong? In your legs. So activities that we do that help our leg strength, like squats, or the sit to stand is a common one we do in here. Biking is a great quad strengthening exercise. Stepping up and down is an okay leg strengthening exercise if your knees are okay with it. But maintaining your leg strength is very, very helpful with respect to balance. And another part of your leg that you don't think is your hips. Okay, you need your hip muscles, which means the muscles that this guy here in the top middle, he's bringing one leg out to the side. So those motions where you're taking your leg away from your body and bringing back in, which is called abduction and adduction. Those movements, those side to side movements that require you to lift your leg out and to pull it back in, basically strengthen the muscles around your hip And those are good muscles to have strong with respect to holding yourself up. And there's lots of ways to focus on those. So in lots of our routines, you know, we do some sidestepping, which is a motion where you just step side to side, side to side. And that's going to be a strength activity for those hip muscles that are going to help you with your balance. So I'm encouraging you to do some sidestepping here and there. And part of the sidestepping also is what it says underneath it. It's a weight shifting motion. Okay. So that fits into the notion of the strength and the agility as well. And so when you can shift your weight comfortably from one side to the other or front to back, that's helping you with your balance, because of one, it's improving the strength of the muscles that you're doing that. And it's also training you to make adaptations. So if you start to fall and you have good ability and agility and can quickly step to the side so you're going to not fall down, that's a good thing. So these notions of shifting your weight help in that notion, because it's just training you to have the ability to move quickly and to react and to shift your weight from one side so that you don't fall down because that rock was in your way, whatever was getting interfering with that. So those are good maneuvers to do. Some sidestepping, some things to maintain your quad strength, some things to do just for balance, as proprioception, standing on one leg. And then flexibility helps too. So if you have, that fits into this weight shifting ability. And if you maintain a fair amount of flexibility, especially around your hips, then that's going to help you react and adapt better if you didn't have that same flexibility. When you're stiff and not very strong and you start to fall down, you're just a little bit doomed because you don't have the ability to catch yourself nor to react in time to not hurt yourself. So the encouragement obviously is to work on these things that would help you fitness wise to maintain your balance. So strengthen your hips, strengthen your quads, strength. Where else in your lower body? Lower, your ankles. So I have a lot
Your
of
knees and ankles.
your ankles. Yeah. So you want to do stuff for your ankles, because those are especially the ankles are the ones that are the great detectors, and they know what's going on. And things you can do to keep your ankle flexibility and your ankle strength up are going to be to your advantage in this whole concept of keeping your balance. There are, oops, long way. We have one of these in the way back, and I don't think you need special tools, but there's toys out there like there is for everything. So if you wanted balance toys, you could have some that would maybe help you, but you could basically also just use a wooden box or a big thick dictionary or a step in your house to basically focus on trying to do one leg of stuff at a time. And that's more the dizziness. Here's a couple of links. And I did want to show you this one. So this is, we're now part of this. So the Sacramento Public Health Department does many things. And one of the things that they do is they have this grant, and they have created, I don't know who created it, but there's an concept in our community called the Stop Falls Coalition, which is basically a collection of health professionals that the county's part of it, and the UC Davis and Kaiser and Dignity and Sutter all have people that participate in this Stop Falls Coalition. And this Stop Falls Coalition is basically, again, a collection of all these health professionals. And in the hospital world, the director of this committee is from UC Davis, and she's the trauma nurse, basically. So they're sort of keen on, because a lot of hospital admissions relate to people injuring themselves because they fell down, right? And so they have movements underfoot to basically improve the fall prevention statistics for their patient load. And they offer a lot of classes. And on this Stop Falls Coalition, there is a class link here. And the classes that they tend to do, one is this thing called Matter of Balance. Another one is Bingo Size. And then there's a Tai Chi class on here as well. But this matter of balance is the one that this committee has decided is the balance training program that they're want to implement, community-wide, and UC Davis, Sutter, Kaiser, they all offer matter of balance class. We're actually now on the list. Carrie and Lee and I went over and are now master balance. What are we? Trainers. So we're going to put on a matter of balance class. And it's an 8-session thing, and there's a sign-up sheet over there on the shelf if that appeals to you. And the matter of balance class is, it's a canned program. So it's an 8-week program that covers many things, and exercise is a small portion of it. And the behavioral stuff is a bigger component of it. And one of the particular goals for this program is part of falling down or preventing falls has to do with basically people being afraid of falling, fear of falling, because that enters in. And so when people are afraid of falling, when they have fear of falling, that basically creates a little bit of a negative spiral because they're afraid they're going to fall down. So they don't do the things they need to do to keep themselves from falling down, which basically just puts them at bigger risk of falling down. So this matter of balance class is a lot of discussions about how you basically get over being afraid of falling. So if you'd like to come to the class, we'd love to have you. The sign-up sheets over there. And this will be the first time we've done it, so we're feeling our way around it a little bit too. But it's also something you could do back at UC Davis or at Kaiser or wherever you get your medical care. And this particular website, basically, if you clicked here, let's see. That's the program, who should go. There's a schedule somewhere for this. Well, I want to look at the local stuff. Looks like it's a national website. So where is their schedule?
So Linda, will this be in person or on Zoom?
It's in person.
Okay, I just fell 2 days ago and I ended up in the ER. And because I started an aspirin regimen 2 weeks ago, I had to have a CT scan.
Okay.
Luckily, I don't have a brain bleed, but I am bruised on my ribs. And honestly, I'm still trying to figure out why I fell because
Okay, next Friday, the 4th, 11 o'clock, be here.
Yeah, I'm blaming my bedroom slippers. I don't know.
Yeah, those slippers are always bad.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. Let me know.
It starts Friday.
Not this week, next week, the 4th.
And what time?
11.
Okay.
So it's the 4 Fridays in October and then the first 4 Fridays in November. So it's every Friday for 8 weeks, starting on the 4th.
Okay,
11 to 1.
thanks.
And
Yeah.
here's the citywide schedule, okay? And I will share. So the places, if you do it through your healthcare provider, Kaiser or UC Davis, then they may or may not be on here. And that's one place you could do it, is just with your own healthcare facility. And then just community-wide, there's also many courses that offer, and we actually have aligned ourselves not with the hospital, but with this agency on aging. So that's a collection of professionals, including a big health promotion side. And so the class that we're doing, basically, we're sponsored by this agency on aging. And they do a lot of classes themselves, and they go out to community centers and put on classes. And they also are the ones that do this bingo size, which is a Zoom thing and kind of fun, especially if you like to play bingo. I can't imagine playing bingo over Zoom, but they do it. Okay. Anyway, that's another program that's kind of big in our community that this agency on aging is doing. Okay. I think that's all I had for slides. So if you'd like to join our class, we'd love to have you. And hopefully we'll do it again sometime after we survive the first time. But that being said, that class is just 8 weeks of a lot of discussion, a little bit of exercise. And if we do other things in our program related to balance all the time, so any of the activity sessions that you do with me, you're doing something for balance. And on Friday afternoons at 2:30, we have a program with the physical therapy students that come up here. So they're here every Friday at 2:30 doing a balance activity session, which is something we set up 3 semesters ago with Dr. Lazaro. So that's still going on. That's going to keep going on. And the encouragement is if you did the Matter of Balance course and realize that you need to do more, that's one place where you could do more, is coming into that Friday 2:30 class, or any of the other group things that I do. Or we can work with you one-on-one and make up your own little routine that you could do by yourself. So comments or questions or thoughts?
Linda,
Yes, Grace?
so most of, well, all of these are in person, right?
No,
There's-
if you looked at the schedule, some of these Matter of Balance classes are indeed on Zoom. That was the wrong place to go. Where did I find that schedule? Class calendar. Oh my goodness, we're on here, Carrie.
Now you're committed.
Yeah, we're committed. I was unaware of that. So what I would do, Grace, is to call the Agency on Aging and ask them about a Zoom class, because yes, some of them are on Zoom.
Okay, and I noticed that in the beginning you said this is recording. Are you gonna, is the recording of this whole session gonna be, will we have access?
Yeah, that's on our YouTube stuff. Do you not know how to do that?
No,
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll spiff you up on that.
okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
sure. So Judy, you had a comment or a question?
Well, I was just gonna say, are they addressing the risk factors that we might encounter or
Yes,
trip hazard?
yes.
Keeping that safe.
Yes, that's a big part of it too. Exactly. Okay.
Do they give them on materials too?
Pardon?
Do they give them on materials? I know it's the classes I went to, they.
Yeah, we have a whole book to give you and we got swag and everything. You might want to do it just for the swag, Paul. No, there's a grabber and there's a shoehorn and a nightlight. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. And yeah, keep doing what you need to get your balance going. So I want to share, especially for anybody that comes in the morning, it's super okay. And I don't know if you've ever watched what's going on when I do this group stretch on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the last chunk of it is we're back standing up. So the very last 5 minutes would be a lot of this leg stuff. So I'm totally okay with you not doing the whole stretching routine, but if you popped in for the last 5 minutes where we're back standing up again, you could do the balance activities that we're doing those last 5 minutes, and it would be a good thing. Would be like at 10:55.
To just report.
Yeah. Since you do the whole routine, Margie, what do you?
That's great.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that, and that's on Zoom, as some of you know, so you could zoom in and do that. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.